So hello everyone and welcome back down the plot. It's the middle of July, so I thought it was about time that I did a July plot tour. Been planning to do them at the start of the month, but I seem to never get around to it. So let's go and have a look at the plots and see what I've been up to. So as always, we'll start at plot 89. As you can see, there's been some work going on. The front still needs tidying. I've got lots of strawberries, which I plan to put in this bed here. They're all ones that, surprise, surprise, I bought reduced, that I have in the greenhouse at home at the moment. But I'm actually getting strawberries off them in the greenhouse. And I've only had them a couple of weeks. But yeah, the plan is for half of this to have the strawberries. And I'll probably put a load of straw and mulch and stuff down. And then this side is the rhubarb bed. It's got loads of horseradish in it at the moment. I do want to grow some of that horseradish, but I don't want to grow it in the ground because it just takes over, as you can see, and it ends up everywhere. So the plan is to tidy this one up, have that as rhubarb and strawberries. At the moment, the beds at the front are kind of grassy. I do get daffodils in them in the summer, but I need to clear those and put some other flowers in them. This bed here was cleared fairly recently, so a lot of these have sprung up in the last few weeks. As you can see, we've got some lovely borage growing. I do like borage, it always grows in this bed. It's always self-seeded. There shouldn't be any particularly deep-rooted weeds here, so the plan is to clear this off, and I'll probably get some brassicas in this one. I've got a few sort of, I know it's late, but Brussels sprouts and things growing in the greenhouse, which will come here later. This side, I think the white currants haven't done particularly well this year. I think I can see one white currant across the two plants, but we'll have to see how they do next year. Over this side, we know that cherry plant is probably gone. This one has put on a bit of growth, but not very much this year. We'll have to see how that does as well next year. This was a little climbing rose that I think came from a pound shop a couple of years ago, and it's never really done much. It gets to this stage and that's kind of it. So I don't know whether that will be something that I replace with something else next year. There was one on the other side, but that's not really done very much. So coming up here, we can see I've just cut the grass. I can't remember on the last plot tour if I showed this, but I've cleared the herb beds. As you can see, this one here is all rosemary. The plan being that hopefully this will all end up being like a rosemary bush that kind of splits the plot a little bit and smells lovely. This is some weed stop stuff from Westland. Initially it looked really, really good. It's suppressing the weeds a bit, but there's still quite a few coming through. So I'm not as happy with that as I thought I would be. And you can see over here as well, lots of grass coming up through it. But we do have a nice big thyme plant here that we can get to and use for, especially with chicken. Now, this is the sort of work in progress part on this plot at the moment. I mean, in reality, this whole plot is the work in progress at the moment. The other plot is a little bit more sort of going to be productive this year. But as you can see, what I've started doing, I remember last tour, I think I'd marked these out, but I've started building these beds here. The idea is they're long and narrow, so that I can actually reach across and get to the middle a lot easier than I could on the last beds that were here. And they're a lot more sturdy as well. As you can see, I'm putting a decent gap in between them. Reason being is I'm going to grass in between all of these so it matches with the rest of the plot. But it means I can get the lawnmower down, which is an error that I made last time. As you can see, we've got partway through this one. I got partway through this one last time I was down here, and we ended up with thunderstorms. So I had to kind of quickly pack up and dash. But the plan is to get this one finished very shortly. And then there's going to be space for another one here, potentially two. It depends. If I can fit two in comfortably, I will. If it's going to be too much of a squeeze, I won't. or I might do like a narrow bed or something like that. I haven't decided yet. Let's go up a bit further. The trees are all doing well. These two both put on a decent bit of growth. Apple tree does have a selection of apples on it. I'll have to see how these do. It'd be nice if we got a couple of apples that we could eat off of this. Previously it's had small apples that have all dropped off, but they've dropped off before this stage. So hopefully we'll get some out of there. Moving along. I can't remember what these trees were. I think this was maybe a nectarine, but I'm not sure. And this one, your guess is as good as mine, but it's taller than me, so it's going to need a trim before too long. Again, that is still a surprise project that I need to do a video for, tidy out and do a video for. Wildlife area here. It's mainly long grass here at the moment, to be honest, but I can hear there's lots of crickets and there's lots of bees and things that fly around here, and who knows what else lives in there. We do have these lovely purple flowers all growing around in here. Again, lots of bees. In fact, I can see one through there now. They seem to love this, which is obviously the whole idea of the wildlife plot. Little hedgehog house. I don't think it's seen any action. And the insect house, again, I'm not sure if we've had any action in there at all. Looking through to the pond, looks like we need to add some extra water into there. But so far, no wildlife living in there that I could see. You may remember this bit up here, I did clear last year, and I've kind of cleared it again and popped my corn in here. It's struggling with the heat, if I'm honest. Just need to keep it watered, but I do have some more corn in the greenhouse that will hopefully be sort of a late crop. It's probably pushing it to get a late crop out of it now, but we'll see what happens. And then over here, unfortunately, the compost bin has got a bit of a bindweed infestation, so I need to do something about that. And then, as you can see, towards the back of the plot, we've just got lots of there's lovely purple flowers over there behind my plot, so hopefully lots of bees and wildlife enjoying that. Let's head over to the other plot. So I've just had a little look at the pond and I saw a bit of movement and I saw these little eyes looking out at me. So I do have frogs in the pond. So this is the second plot, plot 64. As you can see, I've built an arch here. This was actually an archway that we used for my wedding that's been sat at home for ages. Finally got around to putting this up. What we have done is we've put some climbing plants on here. Do you know what? I can't remember what they are. I'm sure it'll come to me later, but we've got one each side to hopefully grow over, and I think it had purple flowers from what I remember. We've also, as you might have seen in the previous video, got lots of beds here now as well. So along the front, I've got some Roman tomatoes, this bushy plum variety, some Gardener's Delight, and that is mirrored over on this side. Tomatoes, some of the tomatoes are struggling a bit in the heat, some of them are thriving in it, but we'll have to wait and see how they do. Right, let's walk into this plot. So, over this side, these are some tomatoes that I planted out really early. They got kind of really knocked, but they seem to be picking up now. This was the random green leaves that I couldn't remember what they are. I think they're spinach from what I remember. So we've got lots of these dotted about. This is the pumpkin. Now, as you can see, this was really sort of badly attacked by slugs. I think in the hot weather the slugs have now gone away, and this has sort of started to recover a little bit. And next to this we have a chili plant. I can't remember what chili plant this is, but it's got some chilies growing on it, as you can see. Incidentally, all of these beds here I've mulched with grass clippings. It's something that I get a lot of on this plot because I've got a lot of grass, and what I want to do, especially during this hot weather, is have something that's going to stop the water evaporating off of the soil. It's worked really well in the past. It kind of suppresses the weeds and helps keep them moist. Over onto this one, again, more chili plants. This is the Butjolokia, a nice spicy one. Some more spinach. This is a courgette that one of my plot neighbours donated to me. It's doing really, really well. As you can see, we've got, well, halfway between a courgette and a marrow. That's going to be coming home today. And we've got some other courgettes growing in there as well. Over here, this is the Prairie Fire chili plant. You can see we've got lots of chilies that are starting to grow on here. These will stick upwards and look really cool. Over here, a random chili that I don't know what it is. We've got the Tromboncino here, which again was donated by the same plot neighbour, and this is going a bit mad, if I'm honest. It's starting to leave the bed, but we are in here starting to get flowers growing, so hopefully we should be getting some veg off of this at some point soon. So we've got some more spinach, Alicante tomatoes, which look like they're doing really, really well. Coming back, I'd started to run out of grass clippings by the time I'd got to here, so next time it'll have to be these ones that get topped up. There we've got some chard, some spinach. This chili plant, I don't know what's happened with it, but I think I'm going to have to stake this up. It looks slightly worse for wear in places. I don't know whether that's just where it's got really hot or what. In this bed here we've got the Brad's Atomic grape tomatoes. These are a really cool variety that I'm hoping to get lots of tomatoes out of. They're usually really, really prolific and have like a blacky green tomato. Up here we've got the red cherry tomatoes. A Fatali chili plant, that's a nice hot one. A couple more of those Brad's Atomic, which I know look really spindly, but this is how I've had them grow before, and they, did really well. Got the Trinidad Scorpion chili plant, nice hot one. This one's a little chili plant, it's a super chili, and we've got some chilies starting to grow on there. Behind is the Armageddon chili. It's my first year growing that. This one has been hit by something, but it is starting to recover. It was looking really worse for wear last week, but it has now started growing new leaves on it, so hopefully we'll get some chilies off of that. Scotch bonnet had the same issue as well, but this one is recovering, but doesn't look quite as healthy as the Armageddon is recovering. Some more, I think that's more spinach. Back here, these beds, as you can see, we're starting to get some growth in these. These are where I've planted the sunflower seeds for the birds. Last year, the only sunflower that I had grow was from bird seed, so I thought I'd chuck a load in and see what happens. And I've got the same up here as well. This one doesn't look like it's doing as well, but we'll wait and see. If not a lot comes, then I'll stick something else in these. Now, going back, this is my gooseberry bed. As you can see, it needs a little bit of a hoeing in between all of the gooseberry plants. They seem to be doing quite well, but I don't think I'll get any gooseberries off these this year, probably next year. The beans, I think I needed to get these out a bit earlier really. They got far too big in the greenhouse. I mean, they are are growing, so we will get some beans off of these, but I don't think they've done as well as they could have done. And same along this side. These are the runner beans, and along here is where I put my French beans, which haven't done well at all. But again, I think that's my fault. I put them out too late and they were a bit spindly. We have got some that are growing up. No, that's a weed, I think. But yeah, again, in here needs a bit of a weeding. Raspberry bed. Again, this is where I had planted loads of raspberry plants that didn't really do a lot. I have got some I can see that have started growing, but for a lot of these plants this was last chance saloon, so if they haven't grown or put on any growth this year, they'll be coming out and being replaced. Up this end here we have the pear tree. As you can see, we've got lots of these little pears growing on here. I've never actually tried one of the pears off of here because they've never done well whilst I've had this plot. Apple tree, as we can see, is absolutely covered in apples, and it's like this the whole way around the tree. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of apples on here, so I'll be looking forward to harvesting these a bit later in the year. This tree, when I've tried it before, has had really, really sweet, nice apples on it. So hopefully we'll get, well, hopefully these will all hang around, grow a bit bigger, and be a nice treat. Like the apple, the red currant is doing incredibly well. These are all about ready to be picked now, but as you can see, we've got hundreds and hundreds of red currants on here. They're all doing really well. And then next to it is black currant, which, see, we've got a few black currants on it, but not a huge amount. And then last, this end of the plot, is the potato beds. I know I put these in really late, they didn't get a lot of chance to kind of put on growth. Again, it needs a bit of a weed, but I don't expect to get much out of here. I should have got them in earlier. I just wasn't ready. It was whilst I was off sick when they needed to be put in. I say we do have some growth, but now we're in the heat, they're struggling, and like I say, I don't expect to get that much out of these, but I will get some in pots at some point soon, planted up ready for Christmas potatoes. So there we go, that is the plot tour for July. It's very, very hot down here at the moment, and has been for the last week, so I'm struggling to get down as much as I'd like. There's been days where I wanted to come and do stuff, but it would have just been, you know, silly to come down in that heat. I've been down to water, but that's been about it. So hopefully in the coming weeks I can get caught up and get a bit more done, but it looks like we're in for a lot of hot weather coming up. So we'll have to wait and see what I can do. I may just have to come down for half an hour here and there and get a little bits done, but we'll wait and see. So hopefully by August there'll be even more to show you on these plot tours, but we'll have to wait and see. So thank you for watching, take care, happy allotment Tim.